This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, guys. So my name is Sanjay Singh, and I welcome all of you to this online session on AWS Solution Architect. Our today's agenda is AWS Identity and Access Management, which is IAM. Okay. So this is a very important topic in AWS Solution Architect. Why? Whenever you are going to manage your cloud infrastructure or your AWS cloud infrastructure, so you want to manage your resources, that who can access your resources, when they can access, what kind of permissions they have, what kind of delegations you are going to assign to them. So that thing you can manage through IAM. Okay, you can create users, you can create groups, you can create policies, you can create the roles, you can create permissions. Okay, so by that section, you can authenticate and authorize your users. Okay, so what they can do actually inside your portal. So let's suppose if you have account and you have multiple users who are using that account. So what the user who are in your portal, what they can do with your account. Okay, what kind of permissions they have. So basically, by default, when you will create any user, that user don't have any permissions. Okay, so he cannot do anything inside your portal. Then you will assign permissions. So you will always assign least permission, which is required to that user. Okay, so we'll discuss those things one by one. So let's discuss first of all. So that is the agenda of our this section. So it's a web-based service. Okay. So with IAM, you can centrally manage users' security credentials such as access keys and permissions that control which resource users and application can access. Now, the users which you will create, you will get two kinds of access: programmatic access and customized access. So programmatic access means you will get some access keys and, access IDs. So rather than sharing your account password, what you will do, you will share these access keys and access ID. So the person who have access key and access ID, he would be able to access your account through CLI through SDKs. So you can control who can access your AWS resource, that is authentications, how they can access you and use your resources through authorization. So who is authorized and who is authenticated? Authenticated means by their user ID and password they will be authenticated, and by their roles and permissions they will be authorized what they can do. So features, what are the features of IAM? So shared access to your AWS account. You can grant other people to permission to administrate and use your resources in your AWS account without having to share your password and access. So you can share your account. That means, let's suppose if you are an administrator, if you are, so definitely you have root account access. So rather than sharing your root account ID and password, what you will do, you will create users and then you will assign some permission to that user. Okay, and then you will share that user's access ID or password. Okay, so he would be able to access the services as per the permission. Granular permission, so you can grant different permissions to different people for different resources. For example, you might allow some users to complete access to Amazon EC2, okay, to S3, to DynamoDB. So basically, it depends. If let's suppose if there is a EC2 admin, so who is creating your EC2 instances or who is managing your EC2 instances. So what you will do, you will create a user and then you will assign a policy to that user that he can manage only, or he have EC2 full access. Okay, so he would be able to do. He will create EC2 instance. He can delete EC2 instance. He can modify settings of EC2 instance. He can take snapshots of your EBS volume. So whatever permission you are going to assign to that user, he would be able to do that thing only. Secure access to your AWS resource application that you run on Amazon. So EC2, you can use IAM features to securely give application that run on EC2 instance the credentials that they need in order to access other AWS resources like S3 bucket or RDS or DynamoDB databases. So what you can do, you can use IAM, okay, and then you can assign roles to your resources. Okay, for S3, for EC2, for RDS, or for DynamoDB. So as per the role, so what is role basically? So we need to understand few things first of all. IAM. So in IAM we have few things like users, groups, policy, and roles. Now, first of all, users. So users are individual identity. So they are known as cloud identities. Okay, so that means let's suppose if you want to spread your work and you want to assign some work to your users. So what you will do, you will create their account inside your portal, and then you will assign passwords. Okay, and permissions. So permissions will be you can assign those permissions to policies. So you can assign your permissions, or you can create your individual policy as well. So policies are documents basically which will specify what user can do with that resource. So these things you can assign to policies. Okay. Now let's suppose if there are 5 users who need same kind of permissions. So what you can do, you can individually assign policies to those users. Okay. Or you can create a group. Okay. And then you will add those users, the 5 users into that group, and then you will assign that policy to that group. By default, the 5 users will get the same permissions which will be assigned to your group. So that will be inherited to those users. Okay. So this is the use of groups. Let's suppose we have 5 users who need administrative privilege, or who need EC2 full access or S3 full access. So what you will do, you will add those users into that group. Okay. Or you can individually create groups. Let's suppose I have created a group like admin permission, S3 permission, EC2 permissions. I have created these groups. So now the user who needs admin permission, I will add that user into that group. The user who needs S3 permission, I will add that user into S3 permissions group. Or the user who needs EC2 permission, I will add that user into EC2. That is the use of groups. Policies are set of permissions where you will specify what kind of access they have. So the permissions on the resources, what they can do. So that thing you will mention into policy. So there will be some default policy in your AWS account. Okay, and you can create your own policies as well through JSON or through Portal. Now roles. So roles are similar like users. It's similar like users. Okay. So the policy you can apply to roles, to groups, to users, or to roles. Okay. So roles are basically in users. When you are accessing a user or when you are managing a user, you need a user ID and password. Managing a user. For roles, you don't need any user ID and password. Without having any user ID and password, you will apply some set of permissions to access your resources like S3, EC2, RDS, DynamoDB. Okay, so at that time you can use roles. Let me give you an example. Let's suppose I have a EC2 instance. Okay, so on that instance I don't have access of S3. Okay, now here on my S3, which is cloud storage, I have some buckets, and I want to store my data which I have stored on my EC2 instance. That data I want to move into my S3 bucket, or I want to download some data from my EC2, my S3 bucket to my EC2 instance. So for that I need permission. Okay. So what I can do, I can assign a permission to a user. Okay. But at that time I need user ID and password. So what I can do, I can create a role, IAM role for S3. Okay. And that role I will assign to my EC2 instance. So the user who is managing that EC2 instance, he would be able to download and upload and create, delete buckets as per the permissions which is assigned to that role. So roles is kind of delegation. Okay. So without sharing your user ID and password, without creating a password user, you would be able to manage your resources through roles. So this is the use of roles. So let's move to your portal and let's see what we can do. So first of all, let's search IAM from your customer home. So this is the basically that is the URL for your users. So the users who will access your portal services, they will sign into that URL. So that is the URL for those users which you will create here. Okay. So as you can see, you are getting some numbers, some random numbers, and along with this suffix. So you can change that name. Okay, you can use your customized name as well. So which we will see, we'll do that thing through command. So you can do from here as well. There is option click on customize. From here you can set a alias for this name. Okay, so you can do that thing through portal as well, and you can do that thing through CLI as well. So we'll do that thing through CLI. Is it clear? Okay. Now let's move to groups. So right now there is no group. So let's click on create group. So I'm going to create a admin users. Next, policies. So when you will create a group, you have to attach a policy with that group. As I told you that this is the admin group, so that means we need the users or we need to apply a policy which have administrative access. There is a policy administrator access. If you will apply that policy to that group, so the group have administrative access. The user who will be part of that group, they would have access of administrator. They can do anything with your portal. So click on next, create group. Okay, and create another group like S3 users. So from here you have to search policy S3 full access. So Amazon S3 full access, create group, then EC2 users. One second. So you can attach policy after then also. If you have created a group and if you didn't assign any policy to that group, so you can attach that policy later as well. So EC2 full access. Imagine EC2 full access. Search first, select next, create. So we have created three groups. Now create users. Click on add user. So this time I'm going to create Bob. So you have two options. What kind of access you want? Programmatic access and AWS Management Console access. So console access means you will create password, and programmatic access means you will get some access ID and keys. So which is used for when you are accessing your user or your services through CLI, through SDK, through any API. At that time you need programmatic access. Okay, so I'm going to use both. So here it will generate an auto password or you can use your customized password. So I'm going to use here my customized password. Now, in which group you want to add your user. So you can, if you will select your group from here, that is okay. If you want to add later in any group, so you can add later as well. So I'm not going to select right now any group. I'll show you that they don't have any permissions. Right? Keys. So department to add tag here and IT admin department. So create user, that is the credentials of that user. So you need to download these access keys. download on my desktop, and this is for Bob user. So Bob credentials. Click on close. Click on add user, add another user. So add Tom, automatic access, console, permissions. I don't require any password reset. Department, storage, file, account credentials, SAM. You can add user, you can add multiple users from here as well. Okay. SAM, programmatic access, CLI. So assign password to that user and do not change password. Next column. So this user department easy. So SAM don't have access keys. So let me check. Security credentials and scroll down. So create access key. If you didn't create any access key for that user, okay, and you forget to download that access keys. Do one thing, you can generate that keys to portal as well. Okay. These keys are generated for SAM. Download that CSV file. So anytime you can generate and you can make inactive that key anytime. Okay, that is totally up to you. Now, let's do one thing. We have created users, so now we need to sign in. Just copy that link and open a browser. This is the URL. That was the user's ARN. So if you want to specify any policy for that particular user to JSON, at that time you need that user ARN for this particular user. Okay, and this is the sign-in console URL. Just copy that console URL and paste here. So my username is Sam. Password is this. So by default, there is no permission to that user. I will assign permission later to that user. What I'm going to do, I'm going to access EC2 console. So you can see if you go to dashboard now, you can see you are not authorized to describe running instances. That means I cannot do anything here. I don't have permissions. If I click on launch instances, select any instance, so an error occurred describing your selected AMI. So you are not authorized to perform this operation. That means you don't have any permission. So now do one thing, move to your portal, move to users tab, select your user. Okay. So you can add that user into a group or from here as well. So select your user and there is option groups and you can add your user to group or you can move to groups there and from here you can select EC2 users group. Okay. Go to group action add user to this group. You can add Sam. You can add user. The user is added to this group. You can move to users tab and you can verify from Sam. So let's move to group. So Sam is part of EC2 users group. So if Sam is part of EC2 users group, that means he has full access to EC2 console. So let's move to EC2 and just do one thing. Just click on sign up. So you need to sign up and sign in again. Move to EC2. So right now I'm on the EC2 dashboard and you can see I'm not getting any error here. So click on running instances, click on launch instances, and if I'll select any AMI, I will be able to perform task. I can create EC2 instances just because I have permission. So I'm not going to create that instance. That is just only for lab practice. So I hope you understand how to create user, how to add that user into a group, how to assign policy to that group. Okay, and how this policy will affect the user. So let's move to let's access some other services. So you can understand that thing. So for S3, I don't have access. Why? Just because I'm authorized only for EC2 instance. So I can access only EC2. I can perform only tasks which are related to EC2. So I cannot do anything with S3 bucket. So we have another user who is responsible for S3. Let's move to that user. Let's go to user tab and we have a user Tom. Select Tom and groups. Add to a group. So we have S3 users group. You can add groups. So the user is added here. Now let's move to another user which is Bob. So click on groups, click on add groups. So admin user. So Bob would be admin user. Okay. So now let's try to sign in with Bob. So as I have selected, reset password at next login. You can anytime reset your user's password through portal as well. So now this user, Bob user is the admin, so he can do anything. So let's move to S3 first. So you can see he is able to see everything. So these are the buckets. So he would be able to list all the contents because he's the administrator. He can create a bucket as well. If you will click on create bucket, so he is able to create a bucket as well. That means he can do anything. Just move to EC2 console. So for EC2, there is no error, there is no warning. That means you can do anything from here. So hope this would be clear to all of you. Now, let's do one thing. Let's check how your users will access services through CLI and how we can perform few commands. Let's check. We'll perform some tasks through CLI as well. So search here AWS. So you need to download that CLI from AWS. Okay. What you can do, you can search on Google AWS CLI SDK download. Click on that link. Install AWS CLI using MSI installer. So if you are using Windows computer, then you can use that option. Click on this link and you will get your MSI installer packages. So for 64-bit, 2-bit, so whatever OS version you are using, just download that CLI application and run in your system. So I have already installed in my system. So now I'm going to access that. AWS config. Sorry, config. So this is the command. Okay, connecting with your AWS portal. Now it requires AWS access ID. So as you can see, if you are accessing your portal through CLI, through SDK, through API, okay, so you need access ID and access keys. It will not ask your user ID and password. I'm going to sign in with my admin user. So from here, I'll not use my root ID and password or root access ID and password. So it is recommended do not share your root account, okay, root account ID and root account password or access keys or access IDs of your root account. Okay, so just do one thing: disable your root account and delete access ID and password access keys of your root account and create a user and assign access ID and keys to that user. Okay, so this would be a best practice for security. So let's open Bob CSV file. This is the access key, and we need first of all access ID and secret. So that is your access ID. Just copy that access ID from here and go to CLI, paste here. Then it requires access secret key. Just copy your secret key, which is this. Now, which region you want to use? So the default region is US East 1. Okay, I'm going with default. Now, which format you want to use? Output format. So there is a JSON which is default. You can use table format as well. Okay, so table format that would be a human readable form. Okay, so you get all output into tabular form. So I'm going with the JSON. I'm okay with the JSON. Okay, now I'm going to show you few commands for IAM. So there's a command IAM, AWS IAM update hyphen user space dash dash user dash name. So you have to specify here. Basically, what we are going to do, we are going to renaming our user, okay, existing user. So we have a user which is Tom. So we are going to assign or we are going to rename that user. So dash dash new one user hyphen name. So new username would be let's suppose Robert. This would be a new name for my Tom user. So first of all, let's verify that thing through your portal. So you have user which is Tom here. Okay. So after this command, this user will be renamed. Press enter. Portal, refresh the portal. So you can see Tom is renamed with Robert. Okay. Now let's check other command. So creating a group. So AWS IAM create hyphen group space double hyphen group hyphen name then your group name. So let's put like sales. Press enter. So it will create a group. So that is your output. Just move to your portal, go to group section, and you get here sales. So hope this would be clear to you. Now let's do one thing. We are going to change the this. We're going to assign our alias for this link. Okay. So it is difficult to remember when you will ask your users to then use this link to sign in. So that would be difficult for them. So what we are going to do, we are going to create an alias for our account. So AWS IAM create hyphen account hyphen alias space account hyphen alias space what alias wants to sign. So I want to sign IT engineers. Okay, let's press enter. So you need to provide some globally unique aliases that should be unique. Okay. So just refresh your portal and you can check. So now your sign in link is itengineers.signin.aws.amazon.com. That's console. This would be alias for your users. So hope this would be clear to all of you. Okay. How you will perform to task to group through CLI. Now let's add a user into sales group. So there is a command AWS IAM add hyphen user hyphen two hyphen group space double hyphen user hyphen name. So username is Robert. So double hyphen group hyphen name. In which group you want to add the user or the Robert? So UI wants to add into sales group. Press enter. Move to your portal and let's verify that thing. Robert. Open groups. So you can see Robert part of two groups, sales and SL users. I hope this would be clear to all of you. Let's move to next role step. So you can see. So IAM roles are a secure way to grant permission to entities that you trust. For example, of entities including following. I am user in your another account. Applications code running on EC2 instance need to perform actions on AWS resources. Okay. So let's do one thing. Let's create a role and then apply that role to your resource, and then you would be able to understand that thing. So these are few roles. Okay. Now let's create a role. So I'm creating a role for my EC2 instance. Click on next. These are the services for whom you can create roles. Okay. So it is totally up to you. You want to create a role for your service for another AWS account for web identity. It's totally up to you. I'm going to use EC2 next permissions. What you want to, which policy you want to assign. So that means permissions. Policy is permissions. So I want to assign here S3 full access. Next tags. So that means role, and role is S3 full access. Review role name. So role name is S3 full access to EC2 instances. So review your things and click on create role. Okay, so we have created a role. Now how we will verify that role? So let's move to your EC2 console. what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you my S3 console as well. So in my S3, I have some buckets which we will verify through our EC2. Let's move to your EC2 console and go to your instances. So I have few instances inside my portal. So let's open any of one. Let's open this one. Web one. Click on start. So you can verify that thing that there is no IAM role assigned to that EC2 instance. So first of all, we'll take control of that EC2 instance and we'll verify that we are able to access S3 or not to that instance. And after that, we'll assign a IAM role to that instance, and then we will be able to access the services as per the role defined permission. Connect. So performing any administrative task, you need administrative access. Okay. So let's suppose there is a command to list all S3 bucket, which is AWS S3 LS. So right now you are logged into a local user. So you are not permitted to do anything. Okay. So what you need to do, you need to sign in with S. You need to switch with root account and then perform this command. Okay. So you are not permitted to for this S3 operations here. Why? Just because you don't have any permission. This instance don't have any permissions. So you need permission. So basically you need IAM role. Okay. Now do one thing, just to select your instance, Actions tab, and instance setting, and there is the option attach and replace IAM role. So click on drop down. So there are two roles. So we have created this role to set our role as the full access role. EC2 instances, click on apply. So that role is applied to this instance. So the user who is logged into that instance, he would be able to access S3. So let's run this command once again. So you can see I have two buckets. My both buckets are listed here. So if I have to download anything, okay, from that bucket, so or if I have to copy anything to my bucket, so I can use uh, perform these commands. Okay, so let me show you this. Let's move to S3 console. Let's check IT engineers bucket. So there is a file Dubai.jpg and there is another bucket inside my bucket which is data. So I need to download that file Dubai.jpg. So let's do one thing. Move to your console. So there's a command AWS S3 CP. So from where you want to copy, that is your source. So source is my IT engineers. Inside IT engineers, there is a file, there is an image Dubai.jpg. I want to download that file. So where you want to download that file? I want to download it to Slash. So there is a fatal error. Dubai.jpg is not there. So that means I'm writing some using some wrong name. So let's copy this name from here. As Linux is case sensitive, so use proper name. So the file is downloaded to your Flash. So ls slash let's check. There is a file Dubai.jpg. So hope this would be clear to you. Okay, now I want to copy that file into my data folder, data directory, data bucket, which is in IT engineers. So right now in data, there is a CSV file. There's no Dubai JPG file, so we are going to upload that file. So cd slash okay, AWS S3 CP. What you want to copy? I want to copy Dubai.jpg file. Okay. So where you want to copy? I want to copy to S3 colon slash slash IT engineers slash data. So, yeah. So file is uploaded to your S3. Just move to your S3 console. Okay, and refresh. The file is there. So hope this would be clear to all of you how you can create a role for your resource. So similar like that, you can create resource for your DynamoDB, for your RDS instances. So whatever the resource you want to access or whatever the role you want to assign to your resources, you can assign that role, okay, as per your permission. So hope this would be clear to all of you. Now let's move to next. Open your portal, go to your IAM section. So active MFA on your root account. So it is recommended to enable MFA for your root account. Okay. Apply IAM password policy. So just use that password policy. So where you can specify. So this is the IAM policy. So do one thing, just remove your root access. Okay. And set your password. There is the identity providers. So you can create your identity providers. There is account settings. So you can set your account settings as well for your user. Okay. Credentials reports. You will get your credential report from here. Policies. Policies we have already seen. Now let's move to your users tab. Okay. And open any of user. Select one user. So that is the permissions which is assigned to that user. If you want to add another permission, you can add from here. Okay. Groups we have already seen. Tags we have already done. Security credentials. So let's check this one. So that is your sign-in link for this user. Console password that is enabled. You can manage the password from here. Assign MFA, that means multi-factor authentication. You can assign from here. Okay, so if you want to change password, you can change password from here. Okay. Now, right now, MFA is not enabled, so I'm going to enable MFA for my user. So click on manage. So virtual MFA device or U2F security keys or any other hardware MFA if you have, so you can use your MFA settings as per your availability or as per your settings. So I'm going to use virtual MFA. So I have a application which is Google Authenticator, which you can use for multiple factor authentication. Okay. So let's click on use virtual MFA. Click on continue. It will give you a QR code, and you need to scan that QR code through your Google Authenticator. So show QR code and scan that QR code through your application, and it will give you some numbers so which you have to assign here. So in my case that is 313531. And the second code 142659. Assign MFA. So you have successfully assigned virtual MFA. Click on close. So next time, whenever Bob user will sign in to console, he needs a multi-factor authentication. So that is the added security to your account. So it is recommended to enable MFA for all users, for the users who have some administrative permissions. So it is recommended to enable MFA for all users. So it is totally up to you how you're going to manage. So Bob and the password of Bob. So it requires an MFA code, so which will be on your virtual device. Code is 585040. So without that code, Bob would not be able to sign in on AWS Spark code. So hope this would be clear to all of you. Okay. So if you want to remove your root credentials, you just move to your accounts tab here. Okay. And there is option my security credentials. And from here, you can enable MFA for your root user. Okay. You can get access ID and password, or you can remove access keys and password if there would be any access ID and password to your root user. Okay, so you can perform that thing through for your root user. Hope this would be clear to all of you. So we are done with the IAM section. If you have any query, you can ask, okay, or you can type into comment box. So next session for RDS, Relational Database Service. Bye bye guys.